Hello, good people. Let's get into this. Today is going to be quick and to the point. And we might do some tickers, although it might be some interesting stuff to look at on the S&P, how you're all doing. Hello, Leo, and the other 2.5 people that joined me today. I understand it's, it's a Friday. People are, Friday afternoon, people are busy doing stuff, so completely understandable. Hello to everybody who will join as we go. Yeah, let's get into this. 1 minute, boring. We know we skipped that really quickly. Let's look at 5 minutes. Again, today's day, since we don't have that much left, it seems like we're probably going to correct a little bit, continue. We might end up closing today's gap. So today will end up a big, boring nothing burger of going slightly higher and then closing the gap. That's what appears to be the case with the 5 minutes. 30 minutes is iffy and does really not give us any indication. Shows that it has potentially within that leftover of the session has a little bit more bullish momentum, so it can probably maybe move back to that range, to that median that we've been testing all along. Now from the bottom of it, looking at the 30 minutes, that gives us about again 6,100-ish. If it's 97, 98 to be more precise, it could still fulfill that within the time frame and time span that we have left. This is more bearish than bullish, again indicating downside. So again, since 45 minutes is that beautiful time frame I like to use between the hour and the 30 minutes to give me more conviction on one side or the other. But basically, what is far more likely to happen, what I'm seeing on the hourly, or rather what I'm seeing on the 30 minutes. Let's look at this. 1 hour is a lot more bearish, so I would argue that it's far more likely that we'll continue to the downside based upon this continuing to close that gap that we've mentioned. We're far more likely to close based upon the 5 minutes. Based upon the 5 minutes, we said we're far more likely to correct downwards, going, well, overbought for a little bit, of course, maybe pushing a little bit higher, but then eventually moving downwards. That eventually could probably not suffice to make it back all the way to the 100 area, I think, but what it's far more likely based upon the hourly is to take it downwards and potentially actually bring it to 6074, pardon me, potentially closing the gap, right, today's gap. Again, looking at the market and how it behaved recently, I would completely understand why would people think, yeah, Greg, I mean, gaps are, being opened left and right, and remnants of them being left, left alone, left and right. So we have plenty of them, and they're not really as important as you present them all the time. I would argue, guys, when we will come to close most of these that were not closed, you'll come to understand how important they are. Yes, the market can take quite a while to end up moving through them, but whenever they are left behind, it's far more likely. We're talking about 80 to 90% probability of the price action actually going down to close these gaps. And I mean, again, you can argue with my personal experience of years on end, and or your ability to just observe the market and the actual chart. You can argue with that, of course. Again, not claiming anybody in the wrong here. Alexander, hello, good to see you. Hello. Bedwars Gang, hello. Wait, Bedwars Gang. Okay, I think you got. There's a couple of members I have with these crazy YouTube member names that really confuse me. So I think I know, but I'm not sure. I hope I know correctly. I'm Mr. Sverka on the Discord. That's up to you to give it away, Alexander. Pleasure. I mean, I kind of know, but it's up to you, boys and girls, to give yourself up. Paulina, yeah, I knew, but again, like I just said, it's up to you to give it away. Hello, Mama. Good to see you. Yeah, let's continue. Hello to everybody. Before I forget and miss anybody. What else are we seeing right now on the 4 hours? 4 hours starts to curve down again. Since we're still in overbought territory, let's judge this based upon how next week will start, whether it's far more bearish and bullish. Right now, let's look at the daily to discern whether this is more likely to turn out to be bearish or bullish, right? The same way we've done with the smaller time frames. Objectively looking at the daily, although we are bearish at face value, right? But bearish on top of overbought, right? Being in overbought territory, basically all it does, it tames down, it it sort of flattens out this upwards momentum. In other words, oftentimes what we get in these instances is basically a channel that, instead of being very steep, right, it's just going to be flatter, but still with an inkling to the upside. It's not going to be completely flat, right, but it's going to have some hint, some smell of upwards direction, which is going to be flattened out by the dominance of the bearishness, right? And that could slowly potentially bring the indicator downwards, bringing it into lower price action, sort of projecting the loss of momentum, if you will, right? That's what we could see in terms of the upcoming days. In terms of upcoming days, we're talking about over the weekend, of course, next week into next week, we were talking about probably the following week. When we're looking at the daily, we're kind of projecting at least four, I would argue 3 to 4 candlesticks. Hello, Keith. And subsequently, we can predict, I would argue, most of the week, looking at the daily, most of the upcoming week, give or take. Again, the important bit is to remember that. Otherwise, if you don't remember, Hello, Blackberry. Good to see you. Appreciate you all joining in on a Friday. Happy Friday indeed. Last month made plus 45% with Boyle and TQQQ. Phenomenal, Keith. Be very careful though. Know that you're playing with fire. Again, don't know, right? In my opinion, you're currently playing with fire, especially going with TQQQ. Boyle is a whole different ball game. Has nothing to do with it. Boyle is good, cool. Respect. We have Arnon playing Boyle quite a bit. Keith, you can talk to him. He's became quite an expert on the topic, in the time being that he's been dealing with Boyle. TQQQ, I would be tremendously careful. Again, not financial advice. You do you. If you think, again, of course, you made a decent profit with it. The market kept on rallying, phenomenal. But be warned, from my point of view, the market is teetering on the brink of collapse. And I'm in fact working on a video that is basically called Market Apocalypse or Portfolio Apocalypse or whatever sort of thing. And I know it sounds crazy and bad and all that, and you were saying, well, Greg, you've been perma-bear and nothing has been going on. I'll remind you, I was also the very bullish guy when we were at the bottom of the pandemic. I wish I would get all my analysis and predictions 100% correct. That would be tremendously awesome, but also impossible. I'll remind you that I'm far more often correct than I'm wrong, and we'll see if I do pan out to be correct in terms of the correction. It's judge me later. Judge me when we actually come to the end of the finish line, if you will, and not right now when we're midway. But yeah, I would be very careful with the TQQQ. Based upon what I'm saying, we will go to what I'm expecting to be almost perceived as market apocalypse. Sounds insane, but yeah, that is literally what I'm thinking. I've shown and presented many sort of, data points and lots of evidence to show that the foundation of a deep correction exists. I know it feels very abnormal looking back at COVID and it doesn't make sense to you, but there's a lot of technical parameters that play into the whole larger picture, bigger picture of things. In fact, a good hint to that would be the persistence of the weekly lack of momentum, I would argue, the inability to cross into overbought territory. This is very indicative of loss of momentum. As you can see, the first impulse was tremendously big. We spent a lot of time in overbought territory. We got a very nice, decent impulse right here. Then we slightly, of course, we went into overbought, but very, very barely so much, if at all. And then we had a blow off top, basically, on that one, if you will. Ish, right? They all look alike in a way, but that represented that sort of behavior. And more so now, we're unable to even penetrate the 80%. Pardon me, on the stochastic RSI, which implies the inability to gain that momentum. So that's what we're seeing, by the way, in the weekly, which kind of represents the following. Well, I would say the end of all the way until the end of the year, the following weeks, because if we can read at least a couple of candlesticks out of this, that means we're reading a couple of weeks out. That gives us late but made it. Hello, Lydia. Good to have you here, and thank you for joining us on a probably very busy Friday. Appreciate all your time, boys and girls, ladies and gents. And of course, the scariest thing we've been seeing, Keith, just to remind you, is that on the monthly we've been overbought for a long period of time. In fact, if you judge based upon what is acceptable and more, I mean, not acceptable. Acceptable is the incorrect sort of terminology, but more common, like I would argue, again, 486 days, for example, almost basically call it a 2-year span, right? To be more precise. I know, but we're talking about trading days, right? And so look at this, we're already are 550-ish. Again, if to be more precise here, you'd say, Greg, you're inaccurate. Let's do that, 488, just to have it more accurately. And here we're already 550, 580, 550, sorry, 580, 550 days that we are in overbought conditions. And in fact, if you look at the channel, right, you can see the yellow channel right here. That is the same one that we found ourselves stumbling upon last time when we've hit top and we started correcting to the downside. And yes, we could break through these resistance forces or resistance lines. As you can see right here, for example, we actually penetrated throughout all the 3 months that we ended up testing the process. And so it's not also abnormal to see the price action have slip, right, out of these ranges. It's not abnormal. It is a bit high for what we would consider normal, but still not unheard of, right? This is a very much a possibility, and based upon how things are panning out right here, it's far more probable than not that we will start to see a correction soon. You're saying, well, Greg, again, who says it's not going to do another impulse? No one says it can't, but the probability, the time span, and everything all together, knowing how these mechanisms work, you'll understand that in fact we've already outdone ourselves, so much so, and really we don't have to be a genius to look at this. You can simply look at the price action. This is very abnormal price action, and oftentimes when we do have such price action, we do have deeper corrections. If we're looking at the instance of this particular channel we're seeing on the monthly, just by making it towards the bottom of the channel on a not even such a steep price action, because we cannot expect the price action just to break out down in a single candlestick. It doesn't work like that. Giving it a bit of an angle, we end up at 4,780 area. Let's give it some more time. Let's call it 4,800. So that is just the normal correction, the normal behavior, as you can see. And in fact, don't forget, right here we went again just the same way. We can go above the resistance lines, we can break below the support lines, and actually break lower. Subsequently, we can actually look at that and say, well, we might end up breaking even lower than this point, giving it maybe 4,400. But Greg, you're saying that it's going to be far worse. This indicator is not great at representing or separating up actual waves that are actually bullish to waves that are bearish. Because of its linear nature, it ends up representing both uptrends and downtrends in a very similar fashion, very similar sort of way and visual representation. And thus, when we will finalize a correction, we will then proceed potentially to have an actual down wave that will be represented in a whole different structure that you now guys cannot perceive unless you guys are familiar with technical analysis, harmonic patterns, and various other tools we use to understand why the price action might behave in a particular way. Giving it exactly the coincidental sort of location to where we have that area, right? We might actually see a behavior of the price action slowly breaking down over to this area and then testing this wedge, which will be very normal for the price action, and then to be determined whether it's going to continue further down or actually instead correct to the upside, right? So, pardon me. So, to be determined, but first I would argue that the price action would be moving towards that price action, closing all the wonderful gaps that were mentioned before, and one beautiful day we'll have all these blue lines, well, not disappear, but change how they look, if you will. Yeah. It doesn't mean they're not going to play a role when we're going to be moving back to the upside, right? They will play a role again in the future, post the correction, but that is what I'm expecting. I don't really think we have a reason to continue to the 3 months because we know nothing really has changed since we spoke about this again. Very similar formation to the monthly, and subsequently because we haven't really made any new candlesticks and we haven't locked any new. We haven't finalized the current half year, of course. Now the 6 months, so we were still 25 days away for having this candlestick locked. Pardon me. And again, likewise with the 12 months, which is the yearly candlestick, 25 days away of locking this formation and continuing to see what potentially could come up. Right now, it still looks very bearish. Given all that bullish momentum, we still are turning around, right? It's almost like you give, you give it all, Scotty, or whatever, right? You give it all, and you're still unable to change the direction of where the price action is leading towards slowly, right? That is what we're saying. Okay, so let's proceed with the chat. I think we've kind of covered everything that is important. Give me a sec, boys and girls. I'll be back to the chat. Okay. But made it. Right. Space Monkey Mafia. You see, some of you guys have some crazy ass nicknames that it's hard to remember who's who. Do you think crypto is going to be agnostic of this predicted market crash? Very good question. Given that Bitcoin now crossed 100K, I think, last time I've checked, and I've seen plenty of YouTubers who are live. I've even considered for a second myself going live, but it's really not my niche yet. We're at 100K. Look, I would highly recommend, since I have Nanny's here and she can tell you, we've done some experiments to try and even make ChatGPT give away the true nature and the true history of Bitcoin, for example. And it took a lot of scrutiny and forcing its hand, if you will, right, to force it to give you the real information. I hope Nanny's still here. She can tell you all about it. Join us on Discord. I hope she'll find some time to tell you again and confirm the experience. And I would argue that people are not familiar well enough with Bitcoin's history nor understand crypto well enough. And I'm not completely hating on crypto. Look, the principle, the blockchain has huge potential. Right, so Nanny, you can throw maybe a word into the chat, but our experience with trying to force, ChatGPT to give us the real information about crypto and Bitcoin in particular, what is oftentimes not presented by the main media or the speaking heads and the people who care about it and all that. So there's again, the conveyor belt, if you will, which is the blockchain, has tremendous potential. Don't get me wrong. Give me a second, just have to clear my throat. 1 second. Thank you, pardon me for that. And the idea is not completely bad, but the way the crypto market is rigged right now, and there were certain predictions I was making about what I think crypto will end up being, or at least its current form, and especially Bitcoin, and things I've been saying for literally years at this point, now started happening. In fact, I didn't perceive them to start happening so early, which is the attempt of the government to tie the national debt to Bitcoin or crypto, or Bitcoin in particular, as far as I understood, which is something I've actually predicted. We have members that know and can vouch for that. And quite a while before it even started being a thing. It's quite a recent thing. So, and I predicted it a while back. And so I cannot trust the current structure of crypto, and subsequently inherently, because BTC is at the forefront or the top of the pyramid, and because of BTC's nature, actually, I have a lot of issues with crypto, and I know a lot of people made a lot of money, and I do surely hope some of them are smart enough to capitalize at least on their initial investment, and maybe some, pardon me, sorry, on top of that, just so they will be far more confident with continuing whatever is going on with crypto. I, from my very traditional nature and education in the industry, and I actually, ironically, when I say a traditional, ironically, I don't have higher education and I didn't study in university nor college. I've actually learned within the industry. Those who don't know about me about that stuff, I learned within the industry, and I learned from actual analysts, technical analysts, fundamental analysts, and various account managers, money managers of all tiers, various companies, and so I had to pursue knowledge as I was working through it. And I actually started as a, pardon my French, but as a dumbass junior at the. Luckily for me, at a properly regulated company, and thus I was more on the gray head side of things, but still, I had to go through a very sort of long process of learning and getting to understand that sometimes the I end up being far more traditional, as I've mentioned, and sometimes these things that perceive to be a lot more certain and just they have so much profit to them and so enticing to be just another tulip mania. Those who know, or you can just Google tulip mania. Absolutely, Nennies, thank you for reminding me. Patreon. By the way, Patreon is finally being kind of okayish with me. So now you can actually go on Patreon and sign up for an annual membership. So instead of paying $10 a month, will be $8.50 a month. I don't sign up for these tiers. Actually, don't sign up for these tiers. These are tiers for later. I already have some crazy people that signed up to this, and somebody who tried to sign up to this. So do not, please, these are future tiers, right? The super supporter, and in fact it says future price, do not buy this yet. Literally, I don't make me copy this here, okay? But the idea here is to sign up to this annual 15% off, and yeah, it's just $8.50 a month, and I mean, tremendous value. We really enjoy talking about covering all topics, including cryptocurrencies. We jump right here in the open forum, right here in the one-on-ones is where I do my academy, which, by the way, brings me back to another major discount I now am doing until the end of the year, or until the spots are filled. I now am doing discount on my one-on-one technical analysis academy. It's 10 sessions. Nanny's here is a student of mine, and some other people here are students of mine. You can ask them about their experience, whether they liked it, didn't like it, and whether it's worth it, doesn't worth it, blah, blah, blah. Right now, it's 20% off, giving you a price of $2,000 instead of $2,500. Highly recommended, because it's going to be either until these 4 spots are filled, and or until the end of the year. And of course, there are already people who are asking about, so hurry up. The way you sign up is simply by reaching out to me, DMing me, sending me a message right here, blah blah blah, DMing me, sending me a message. We have a Q&A. You get to know me, I get to know you, and if you like the idea and everything I offer, we continue onwards, and I give you the payment link. Otherwise, not a big deal. So that is that. Thank you for bearing with me throughout this horrible plug. I know it's annoying, and thank you for that. Thank you for being able to wait. Now I'm gonna go back to the chat. Thank you, Nannies. Thank you, by the way, for reminding me about that. Sorry for doing that, but it's important. That's where a little bit seasoning comes to my monthly income, and all the features and tools I use for Discord and all that great stuff. And YouTube doesn't really pay me yet, so yeah. And don't be a member on YouTube. YouTube sucks right now. Still, they still haven't sent me a goddamn code. I'm waiting for 4 months now, guys. I mean, other YouTubers got it within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I've asked them to resend it twice. So, once resend, so 2 letters. So by now I should have got the code at least once, right? You tell me if they're discriminating or not. I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. Yeah. That is not so. Space Monkey Mafia, you were saying that's crypto. I hope I've answered your question about crypto. But sure, join us on the Discord, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you about in depth my perception about crypto, Bitcoin, and so forth. And yeah, happy Friday, Mike. Thank you for joining us. why in the 3 months S&P we are not in the overbought territory? That is a very good question of Bedwars Gang. That is when you will need to learn technical analysis and understand there's a bigger sort of picture to be able to see here. And the problem is we are in an uptrend. We should be moving up within the framework of what we're doing right now. This should have been an uptrend, yes. The problem is it shouldn't have been so big. And in fact, if you remember, I was saying that we're going to end up stopping at around 5,400. I perceived the quarterly, and I'm using that you say that. You see how the channel now crosses right here at around, let's call it what, 5,200, and I gave it basically $200 more of slippage, saying it will stop at around 54, dash along this line, and eventually end up correcting, and we kept on going. This is what we call irrational market. Can this happen? Yes. In fact, this process, that's why I'm saying this indicator cannot be trusted when it comes to looking at a larger wave structure, simply because it doesn't do it well. To recognize the larger structure, you need to see what it is that you're seeing. And yes, we have been going overbought for a long time, and in fact, we're already starting to correct into the body, but you cannot see that other than the 12 months, because that's how, you know how we did it? Remember how we did that back and forth on a larger time frame, smaller time frame earlier? To be able to actually look into the future of the smaller time frame, which is the quarterly, we had to go to the larger time frame, right? So the same thing here, you go to larger time frame and you realize, wait, we are actually already moving downwards, and this is merely a temporary correction, the same way we do sometimes the larger, sometimes the smaller. If you're looking at the larger scale, which really, it's crazy. Like, think about it. Again, you're pushing the pedal to the metal, sorry, and that's what we've been doing all along, right? And we've been able to squeeze a lot more, very abnormally much more. But then again, the deeper correction is almost inevitable, because everything that we've given it, all that force, was not able to turn us around from moving to the downside. And this is far more indicative and far more important to the bigger picture of things than what you're seeing on a quarterly. I understand that misconception, but this is why in my academy I actually use far more advanced tools, and I teach these harmonic patterns and these sort of cyclical processions of the market and why they happen and how they happen, so you will not be misled by tools of this nature. And it's not a bad tool. It's not misleading you. It is just not visible to you because of your lack of knowledge of how it actually works. If that's the way I could describe it in the best possible way. Again, I have students here to confirm or disprove what I've just said. And as you can imagine, I would not be saying something that is not true. First of all, in general, that's not in my character. Again, ask my students, they can vouch for that, or people who know me here for, well, quite a while now. But more so, again, they're here. Oh, how could I, even if I would want to? That is that. Plus, it's not in my nature. But yeah, Bedwars Gang, come on, you know the drill. Join us on Discord. Ask that question. I will be more than happy to go in depth and in detail, so you'll be able to truly understand how it works. And I forgot now. I'm sitting here in the in the one-on-one and making noise. Somebody might jump in. It's gonna be funny. Yeah. And yeah, don't forget, again, if you see us in the open forum, I mean, one-on-one, it's limited to 2 people, so even if you want to, you cannot, unless you have a session scheduled for that time, right? Unless it's an auditorium thing, which anybody can join. But open forum, if you see us there throughout the day, feel free to join. It's not a private conversation. Join in, talk about whatever. Sometimes we sit there quietly waiting for somebody to bring up a topic. Sometimes we ourselves, start conversing about whatever. So join in. Talk about whatever. Feel free and feel right at home. Now, Patreon link doesn't show me. You need to switch. Walter, you need to, when you go to the Patreon link, what you need to do is on the top, you'll have this thing. You see how you do that? You need to switch, pay annually. I think that's how it should look like. Again, tweak it around, but don't forget to get logged in. Again, it might look differently. If I switch to log in right now, it will switch for me the mode of creator or the paid member, so I'll not be able to show you this, right? So I can't really do that. Walter, give it a view where it might actually look different, maybe on the cell phone. So tweak around, touch around, play around with it. I'm sure you're gonna find how to do that. Sadly, I'm not a true expert on Patreon. Plus, another very important reminder, all activities are done on the Discord. Of course, there's a note that notifies you of that when you do sign up. So don't look for really activities on the Patreon itself unless you need help and for some reason you cannot send me a message on Discord and you need help with getting your role set up on Discord, right? Because you do need to go through a bit of a process. In fact, let me show you, boys and girls, those who don't know, my server is 100% private. So you need to go through this bit of a procedure. You have all the links. This takes you directly to you see where it says go to for Patreons. It takes you directly to the menu where you need to link your accounts, your Discord and your Patreon. That's also why it's so important that your Patreon and your Discord will use this will be subscribed on the same email. In fact, by the way, if you just click on this, right, on this, you see how it sort of it goes highlighted, right, when I hover on top of it. It basically, if you click it, it will open up a YouTube video that explains exactly how to do that procedure in case you're confused, or just like I said, DM me and I will help you out. That is that. I'm sorry for the very, very long plug. It's just that I had to answer the questions, just to hope nobody got upset at this. Right. Join the party in the open forum. Yes, Leo, absolutely. We do. Leo here hangs out with me on a daily basis. We converse about anything and everything, get to know the crazy, my crazy opinions about things, and I'm very open. I really don't mind sharing my positions, my opinions. I'm an open book. And those who are my members and have known me for a while will tell you know that I am 1000% honest. I try to keep it straight all the time, and yeah. So I hope you join us. Have you looked at CrowdStrike? No, I haven't looked at CRWD not today for sure. So if you want to, we can absolutely do that. That's Rubrik. Those who want to know, I've taken a look today. A member of mine said how bummed he is for missing out, and honestly, I'm astounded. This thing ran its course and then some. And then some. This is phenomenal, but should not be relied upon. And in fact, you can see the market is already starting to have some stutters. Does that mean that's it? It's all done and over with? No, I mean, you could still see some price action moving within the range here, but I would argue that this thing is scary and probably going to go for a deeper correction sooner than later. Just saying. Also, it's tied in with the market as well. I mean, it's, yeah, but CrowdStrike. That was Rubrik, those who need, RBRK, right? RBRK. And let's do CrowdStrike, CRWD for Mike here, right? Mike, you wanted Mike? Let's do CrowdStrike. Why? How is that? Pardon me for that, sir. Pardon me. So let's look at, come on. So let's look at CrowdStrike. I think we already have somewhat of a structure here that we looked at. We said the price action will be probably moving towards that. It appears to be that it was sort of moving within that vicinity, but I'm not sure when I drew that, whether it's first, second, it's hard to say. But in fact, it appears to be that I kind of projected exactly that, the market going to that area, as you can see right here, going into that wedge. It appears to be that was my projection, and it appears to be I was correct, at least in some form or way. Let's look at what we're having here. That was that projection. And so, yeah, I mean, maybe with a wider range, but still moving into the wedge, as you can see-ish, as I was projecting. And yeah, on a longer run of things, starting to smell, starting to smell. I also don't like how this structure is a lagging structure of the S&P, if you noticed, right? We have that on the 6 months. Notice we have exactly that. Notice, okay, look at this and look at, oh my God, that doesn't help us. Let's grab that one right here. That sort of helps us. Okay, yeah, Are we on the same page? So CrowdStrike simply doesn't have that average to project that, right? But they are kind of moving in tandem, right? And isn't that surprising? I mean, at the end of the day, S&P represents the vast majority of the best companies, which most of them work with CrowdStrike. We already saw what happens when CrowdStrike breaks. In fact, I can tell you as an Israeli resident, half our country went down, which is insane. I mean, I could have not imagined Israel allowing something, or maybe they didn't really realize we were so vulnerable to that sort of thing. But I sure that was fixed since. But the reality is that we're seeing again similar structures. Does that mean again it's identical? No, it's kind of a problematic thing to understand. It simply moves in tandem in terms of the smaller structure of things, but it represents a very similar idea, right? And again, now that we have data to look at right here on the quarterly, you can already see what's starting to happen here. So you basically have made it into that really wide range that you are within right now. In fact, you probably went all over the place, which is very, very impressive. You have something a little bit more tame, but you ended up going. Let's look at this objectively. You can see basically you went to the high, back to the low, back to the high, and I'm sorry to say, but you're probably going to be going back to the low, which coincidentally coincides with these beautiful numbers, which is the golden pocket of a Fibonacci retracement. Those who know, it's a wonderful tool if used right, especially. You've seen me use it here on the channel many times, and it gives you the 290 range, 280, and with slippage, I would even give it 270. Okay, something akin to this, and done. Boom, like that. In fact, I suspect we can maybe see some of that schmelly stuff going on behind the scenes right there. Yeah, why am I being an idiot? Idiot. Am I being an idiot? Let's see. And here's 270. There you go. Just like magic. You can see it. Beautifully played its role right here, right here, right here, right here. Give me a second. We'll probably find it again. No, that's it. That was it. No. Here it is. Oh, now that is just sexy. That is just sexy. And here you go. Here's the golden pocket doing its thing. So absolutely. 270, 280, 290. And I can even go deeper and show you these same ranges. Let me just clean some of that mess up, although that's all we need, some of that mess. Why am I being a stupid? That is, we were looking at 270. No, that's not what I want. I want this thing to go away. We're looking at 270, and that golden beautiful pocket. Here you go. Here you go, both levels. And here is actually, is that? I would probably argue, yeah. And I mean these, but this is sketchy. But yeah, that's it. Or am I not going far enough? I'm probably not going far enough. Yeah, I'm not going far enough. Where are we? Yeah, here it is. Here, both of them are right. There you go. All the support and resistances that I was able to find. See, just like magic. Yeah, and here they are again. If anyone has any doubt, right here. Here is floor, switches to be ceiling. You see how it does that? So support, resistance, testing, golden, being in the vicinity, being magnetized to it, being a very powerful range. And here it is again and again and again. Are we good now? You trust that I know what I'm doing? Cool. You don't have to trust me. Not financial advice. You do you. I'm a moron. A speaking YouTuber. Spicky. Alrighty, we've done that. Now, yeah, I think you got the idea. I mean, it was, yeah. So get ready. Get ready. I think we've covered CrowdStrike, Mike. Is that good, Mike? Have I given you what you wanted, Mike? I hope I've done the work for you, ladies and gents. We're still expecting a downtrend. It was, here's the wedgie thing I was projecting. And yeah, just kind of give or take what I said, but not perfect. Awesome. Good to see, Mike. Good to see that you gain something from this potentially. I hope. I would just only hope. All right. All right. We did this. Been busy, but Greg Patreon is awesome. Has he's a legend. I'm a legend. Chris, you sir is a legend, and I are a baboon. And thank you very much. And I seen and noticed you've been busy lately, so come and hang out with us more. ACHR, ACHR. Let's do ACHR. Let's do ACHR. I need to put this in my regulars at this point. Bad Wars Gang. At this point, it should be a regular. Ta-da! It's like we're all okay. So today we have a simple job of things. It appears to be we're covering all the things. It appears to be that we're doing all the things, all the regular stuff we normally do. Let's see. And it appears to be that we're falling into that normal. You're testing median, obviously. This is what the deal is with you right now. Longer run, you are actually more bullish than bearish, which is cool for you. Cool beans. 10-11, it appears to be. Let's call it 10 and 10-11 with that range. Probably, in fact, for some reason I have 988 here, so 988 and 10-11. But then again, that appears to be your ceiling, and the market is getting ready to take it a notch down. Does that mean this is already down? No, 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 no. That means you still have more up, probably back to that range. There's probably a linear regression here, channel thingy. Where's my channel? Where's my channel? No channel? What, no data? What? No, it can't be. I don't have any. Yeah, no data. Not enough candlesticks. Madam, sorry for that. So not enough candlesticks. If you don't have enough candlesticks, that's you're gonna get yeah, that's your 10-11. If you're like tremendously lucky, you're 11 12 11-31 maybe area. That's like if you're stupid lucky. Again, not you stupid, but you get what I said. You get the idea. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. That's an internal level. I say it's like a smaller one. It's from a smaller range. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. And then monthly, that's that a little bit push up, like we said. That is that potential bid that you might still have. But then again, the market is getting ready to take you down. It's either this and down, but you're getting ready to go down. And no data. Yeah, you see no data? I'm not hiding anything from you. No data. No data. Chiburashka, happy day. Yeah. Let's go. We're plowing through things today. Oh, WYYY. Дорогой, why. Что такое? Kavkaz.net. WYY. All right. Kavkaz.net. Is that what we're talking about? Yeah? Is this? Wush is loose. White Point Corporation. Why do I think I should know what this is? Why do I think I should know? I should be in the know. Let's see. Strong buy. That's a very strong sign of sell. Not even joking, by the way. Okay, that's why I think I know what it is. Okay, you're right. Cool beans. Oh yes. Okay, so now have you been splitting? You've been splitting. Huh? How did I know? You've been splitting. Splitty. You are still stuck in that range. I mean, you're basically you're like, look, even your range is shrinking. Basically, like you can almost see the thing is becoming tighter and tighter and tighter, right, within the range. You obviously can do that. I mean, you can fulfill your like what is that? 680. Mm, 10 ish potential area. Um, are you tied in? Yes, it should be tied in. No, you're going down. This is actually like look at this. You see this? This is the trickery of this tool. It cannot show you. But then again, you could be coming to an end of a. That's an interesting one. This is I think I'll have to look deeper. Deeper. This is opposite of what we tend to see here. What we're saying that it's going. Basically, this is tamed down downwards direction, which goes hand in hand perfectly with what we're saying, falling back into the range that we saw. So yeah, I do think, sadly for me to tell you, that it's far more likely that what's going to happen here, that you're going to have this tamed downwards. So you actually probably not going to test this, because I mean, god damn it, let's be frank, this is minus, so but yeah, you could end up testing your floor probably will be that like 270, two and a half maybe, you know. So I doubt you're gonna match this on a very bad day. You could, but really look out for 2.5 to 30 maybe. Eventually, when I'm down. So yeah, that's that. Uh, and final DK and G. Okay. DK and G. DraftKings. I need to put this one actually in my regular. Yeah. People love DraftKings. I'm really not into gambling and none of that crap. It's really not my stuff, but people love that. And there's like a known outflow out of the stock market into gambling, and we've actually seen it throughout the last 2 years. Very, very uh, strong, accelerating. In fact, I would argue. Yeah, no, it's. I think I remember we looked at this and I said, yeah, you might squeeze a little bit more out with the market allowing it, but is economy gonna have more pain potentially that I'm expecting? People will gamble less. People will always gamble. It's an addiction. People cannot. I'm sorry to say, but it's almost like tampons, right? So yeah, expect a correction on this. In fact, I would argue sooner than later. And yeah, you are probably looking at your low 30s of subsequently eventually. Yeah, with slippage and everything, you're probably looking at low 30s at least. At least. And I'm being generous. I'm being very generous. At least this is what I can see for now. The later, the more. You're like, Greg, you're crazy. None of this even happening. You're talking about this correction and this market crashes. If it's going to happen, let's see. Let's see, guys. We will see. If I'm gonna be wrong, I would not mind coming, making a live, going coming online and making another video or something and saying, guys, I was wrong. Make fun of me. I was wrong. Happy for those who didn't listen or didn't care for what I said. Good, good on you, right? I'll be more than happy to admit if I was wrong. Just let's make sure we get to the finish line first before you say, that I was wrong. Or rather, yeah. Looking for short term for the Genji. I see. Okay. I mean, we're all you need to be careful about everything right now, especially in the upcoming period, right? Short term is good, but remember, no one knew the market is about to crash the very next day before the day before it actually crashed, right? So no one knows about these things. And as I've been saying, we're on the edge of the cliff. In fact, how sometimes in cartoons you see like a character up in the air, right? And somewhere over the cliff, right, already, and just kind of not recognizing, not looking down yet, right, to recognize that gravity hasn't, and while it's not looking, gravity has not caught up with it yet. We're basically that character right now, just like in the cartoons. We're already over the edge. We just don't recognize it yet. We're blindly going. We're still that stage when we're making the first next steps, thinking there is something below us. So yeah, we're we're kind of in a cartoon moment right now, I would argue. So that's that. I think I finished that. UTI. UTI, UTI. Let's do UTI. Is that that it was UTI? I think I saw. Yes, I. Oh, that's not cool. That is not cool. You have a gap there that's gonna get closed. That is an asset that doesn't look like it likes gaps in the first place. I can see this squiggly, wiggly, piggly, and if it does leave tiny ones sometimes, but this is not normal, and this is gonna get closed. And yeah, so mind the gap. It's mind the gap all the way to 16ish, whatever that is, 17, so 16 subsequently. Accelerate. Oh, and you're at the top of the channel on the daily. Cool, cool beans. You're going down. Down, down, down. Down, down very soon. In fact, you're over the channel. So I would argue soon. Argue very, very soon. Somewhat soon. 17 matches coincidentally with your 17 area that you need to for the closing of the gap. So that's the first stage. If it market related, you're going to get screwed far worse, and I think it is market related based upon this structure. Let me look at the years. It is, what the hell is that? What the hell is this? Wait, so wait, what? Okay. If shit really hits the fan, you're gonna test whatever was ceiling here. You see, there's a ceiling here, right? You see, and that ceiling coincidentally matches with, give or take, the bottom of here. Okay, you can see that right now, just to give you an idea. So that's what's going on here. And yeah, you could actually see that again. So be aware that what was ceiling here, right? Like that, sorry, which is like 815. You can see that. So here it is, here it is, here it is. But now, if you're going to look at this downwards, potential downwards price action from here to here, you're probably going to play around with this again. Just saying. 815, 9, 10, 8, 8 to 10. Call it 8 to 10. Done. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. All right, cool, cool, Mike. Yeah. Bad words. Cool, cool, cool. Gamble and stock slow. Yeah. Okay, we said that. Okay. Nannies, thank you very much. Like the like, subscribe the subscribe, ring the bell. Otherwise, you'll not be notified, and you'll have to. By the way, those who are tremendously annoyed by me posting and don't need that crap, and they're like, Greg, I don't need this. This is so annoying. I don't want to hear this channel, and blah, blah, blah. Guys, you can mute whatever the hell you want. You literally go here, right? And you go mute channel until I turn it back on. You see, very simple. See, there's a bunch. You see why the computer thing is like so much more convenient and stuff, right? So yeah. That's that. Don't forget you can mute anything and everything. But then again, why are you there? It's like, eh. But again, I do get the people who mute that channel in particular because they do get a notification from YouTube, unlike some other people. So yeah, you do you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Michalis, how is you do? Greg, how do you expect the crash to be on its first day, like a free fall? Yeah, Yeah, Michalis, yes, it's you far more. So there's a reason why we say, which ironic, because now that you look at this, it feels like we're going up on the, we're taking the elevator up, right? But far more often, what it appears to be, and again, the students here can tell you that if you look at the bigger picture of things, we often realize that the market kind of inches higher, inches higher, inches higher, sometimes correct a little bit, inches higher, inches higher, inches higher. And then part of the trick, it takes such a big bite down that if your stop loss is here and oftentimes skips over it overnight somehow, and well, actually, you'd be surprised, but you need to talk. Most of you don't realize that stop losses do not catch in most platforms over and overnight on gaps, basically, right? Ask them, they will tell you. And so you can find yourself without your stop loss executing right here. Or worse, actually executing. You'd be surprised sometimes. Yeah, it's kind of a convoluted conversation to how institutions know what we are about to do and how it sort of works. Believe it or not, it's their job and they're really good at this, right? So I highly recommend you guys be very attentive. And so, yeah, far more often in the long run, if you can see, again, corrections are far steeper than, so the downtrend is far steeper. And if it's not just a correction, but an actual down wave, it's going to be far worse. It's like real bad. This is why we compare it to a tsunami. Just remember COVID. Remember how it got bad in overnight? Like that. And you're like, no, we have to have COVID. Guys, COVID was a walk in the park. COVID was, again, a walk in the park. What would we get? Like minus 30% all in all? I think it was 32 or something like that. When the planet went shut down, right? So on the tech.com, on the dot-com crash and the housing crash in 2008, we went 51 and 58%. So it was really tame. I mean, it's just like, yeah, be realistic about things. So yeah. All right, cool beans. We covered that. Greg, I missed it. Yeah. Slime, you didn't miss a thing. You're all here. It's all good. Kit, Kit Kazi, I guess. Kit Kazi. Yeah, Kit Kazi. I might have missed it, but what would need to happen to convince you that your hypothesis is incorrect? Not saying you're wrong. I absolutely understand where the question is coming from. That's absolutely that's a phenomenal, Kitkazi. That is a wonderful question. Completely legitimate. Don't worry about it. You didn't have to explain, but I mean, good on you that you're such a gentleman or a lady. Just curious. Technical analysis, my students know there are parameters that will make. Right now, the parameters are actually showing and screaming that I'm correct. And I know it's hard to see, but yes, there are structures and certain technical tools that I use that, again, my students are familiar with and use themselves. And yes, it will scream that I'm wrong, okay? Or conditions have changed. And I would tell you that if conditions will change so significantly, it will be even visible on the technicals. More so, I don't live in technicals work only, not in a vacuum. Those who think for some reason they work in a vacuum. No, they work only not in a vacuum. Okay? And again, ask my students, they can tell you. They've seen it. Now, in fact, technicals are the outcome of everything altogether, really. But not to deviate down that path, what I'll say that I'm not blind and I do pay attention to the news cycle, to everything that's going on. And of course, if conditions will change, I will be able to see it. Now we're looking at CPI reports, jobless claims, at the consumer strength, at the consumer debt, at various other sort of, little things, right? Non-farm payrolls, you name it, all the regular stuff that we used to look at, right? PPI, all of the, basically all the inflationary indicators, if you will, right? All of them, all the row. My brain is going bananas right now. I'm trying to keep it focused. So when we're going to see these go out of line, I might suspect that I was wrong. More so, I would argue that I will know that I was wrong going to the store, not paying, up to 6 times the price to get. Look, inflation is easily recognizable, right? And there are various tricks. And when inflation will truly go back to 2%, like real IRL, no bullshit, right? When we will not have to change the definition of recession for it not to be a recession, then I'll tell you that my thesis was wrong. But more so, we will see. Disney, I actually looked at Disney yesterday. I have the problem with Disney that unlike Tom, I do think that they still are stuck in their stupid, woke agenda, blah blah nonsense, right? And the way I see it right now, we're doing this. You can kind of see it, right? It's a Head and Shoulders, if you will, a form of Head and Shoulders, or we can say there are a couple of sets here. I mean, it could be this. It's kind of complicated. I would not go into try and explain how it all could work, and we can have a continuation of the shoulder right here, basically, right? Could be a three impulse kind of thing, which we probably had here as well. This is a three as well. Not so weirdly. And we can see there is some more upside to this. So we're basically kind of moving within that range, but eventually I do believe Disney's not bulletproof and will end up having the same result. In fact, we can see the curvature of this thing already starting to smell iffy. Right here, you can see the smells, right? Sooner than later, it's gonna start smelling even worse. Probably, I believe, bring us back into oversold territory. We already are in oversold territory. We're just having some relief, basically, if you will. And eventually it will be just like the rest of them. And once it reaches here, oversold territory proper, it will go to shit. How shit? I mean, again, 70 and lower. I don't want to say 43.80 right now. If they will be able to actually wake up from their woke agenda nonsense bullshit, if they will be able to retain 70.60. If they will not, they will go to 43. 43 and maybe even 34. Yes, I know it sounds brutal. Yes, I'm brutal. Don't want to trust me? No problem. I'm okay with that. Again, you don't have to. This is not financial advice. It's just the crazy ramblings of a crazy madman on YouTube, right? That maybe worked for the industry for a little bit, right? But maybe knows what he's talking about. Just a little maybe. Or maybe the luckiest dude on the planet somehow getting all this shit right half of the time. But just a maybe. Just saying. Leo, I love you much. I'm not being a dick. Dick. Oh nah, I missed UTI. I had it. Well, shit run away from me. Well, smile. It's slime. It's that happens. Thanks for answering. Are you kidding me, Kit Kats? It's a great question that you asked. A wonderful question. A good, very well phrased question. Absolutely think it's I mean, if anybody will know it first is my community in the Discord. And I'm sorry, I mean, on the lives it might take some time, right? Because I want to be more certain that I'm showing that right? But the sec I can tell you that people here on Discord, my students and people who come from the Discord and hang out with me on a daily basis, will know the thesis and will be kind of, and more so, I cannot probably hold myself for too long. I'll feel like I'm misleading somebody or being not fair. And for me, it's the equivocal of lying, and I can't do that. So no, I'm sorry. I don't want to do that. Yeah. To keep it simple. Yeah. Crazy. I don't know what to tell you about this. Some people are 100. I'm like, I mean, this outperformed my expectation. This doubled my expectation. Okay. I got it wrong. Boo-hoo. I got this run wrong. I mean, I got many of them right first, right? I mean, I missed one, a significant one. Bummer. But I take it in stride. I'm going to capitalize on further runs, and I'm definitely going back into Palantir when everything is going to crash. Tesla, all the regular suspects. And I do suspect, based upon what I'm saying on the overall market, that we will see such a deep correction that they would allow me to pick up these assets on a very low price, making a very nice profit on the SQQQ that today looks like utter shit, like utter poo poo. But those who know, for me, it's a good time to DCA and buy more. Why? Because I'm confident in my thesis. It takes longer, no problem. I'm going to be more ready. I'm going to gain on it more. I know it's unpleasant, but and yeah, the position is being eaten away. It's difficult. It's difficult to deal with these things, and I'm going to admit that even for myself, it's not easy. I'm not made out of titanium, but I know how to hold, smile through the pain, as Houdini used to say. Smile through the pain. Remember the good old quote: when the blood is in the streets, bye, 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 right? It's opposite, basically. It's, buy a triple Q when the blood is not in the streets and the exuberance is so high that it seems like the market is going to freaking explode, right? So that's that. I think I plowed through today, boys and girls. How was today's live? I hope you're happy. I've done my thing. I've satisfied everybody. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I have. Because it's a blast. We really had some fun today, looking at some interesting things. Palantir is so fucking good, right? It's like, man, this is like bait stock right now. This is like a bait stock. But then again, look, I told you guys, Palantir was tremendous. Look, you can watch my lives that we did months ago, and I said the stock is bullish, and as long as the market will not break, it will keep on going higher. But I was expecting the market to already break because it's insanity. It feels like the market is already floating in mid-air, like I said, like that cartoon character, right? That is cartoon character that is right here over already, went off the cliff, just haven't recognized yet that gravity has not caught up with it yet, and soon it's about to drop like a freaking rock into the ravine, Dude, I used to troll so hard talking about some hundred and no, actually it looked scary. It looks scary. I know. It legitimate. It looks, but we are this engine. Look, you can go too hot and you will pay for it by going cold for longer, right? But if you blow up the freaking engine, you're going to be stuck in the garage for half a year. Okay? I'm just saying. This could be how I said the market, like the low ends of Palantir that I said it could retrace to. This could be, look, at first when it went higher, I said the lows are probably not going to be as low as I expected. Now, because it went so high, in fact, it brings these lows back into potential. You know why? Because the market will drop like a freaking rock, and the momentum it will generate moving to the downside will actually make it plow through these supports. Like they were made out of butter. So we will see. Just saying. Yeah, all right. Well, we will see. Again, if I will be wrong, boys and girls, come to the live, come to the Discord, make fun of me, say, Greg, you're a moron. Shut up, don't want to listen to you anymore. Righty. Remember, people kept on saying at 3 months post the COVID bottom that I got accurate by like cents off, and people 3 months when the rally already was in full swing, were still saying I'm wrong. We'll see. You see that's how life works. It's okay. I've been doing this for so many years. I take it in stride. I take being wrong in stride. It happens, right? But I could be just off, not wrong. Reminding you, especially in the conditions we're in right now. But then again, don't listen to me. I'm a crazy speaking dude, talking head on the YouTubes, and I don't know what I'm talking about and maybe and stuff. So you do you. Best thing you can do is think of the market as this, thing that you know about, and you have your kid walk up to you and say, Daddy, Mommy, what do I do? The market is like this. I have this position. What should I do? Right? Pretend you don't have a position. Pretend you're a third party to someone you love, and give them that advice, and then take that advice and copy to yourself. If we will go up till the end of December, how high can Palantir go? Shit. That's a good question. Damn. Damn. 100? I'm not even kidding. Legit 100. Legit 100. Or I would argue maybe 90 because you're gonna look. The problem is that it's gonna plow through 80, given that December is a long period of time. We're so close to the 90. You know what? Not 100. Screw it. 100 is like I'm that is. But then again, with this price action, I mean, I don't know. Call me Santa and spank me. So I don't know. This, yeah. But at this rate, right? Looking at this rate, end of December, pardon me, end of December. Let's look at where end of December, giving the rate that we're at. Yeah, roughly about 100. Here you go. I mean, here it is. Just to be, boom. So right about now, check it out now. Funk's little brother, Chiburashka now. Yeah. Even with this, even at the current rate that we're moving at. Just saying. It is what it is. $30 more to go. But imagine you're riding it, and now it gets to 80. You're like super happy, and then it just breaks to 40 in overnight. You're like, that cannot happen. 50%? Risk on stocks can do that. No one says it's going to really do that overnight. It's going to drop like 20 overnight, complete another 10 in the very next morning, while you're going to pray for everything to go back, and while you're down 30% ROI, somehow magically you go back, it corrects 5%, and you're like, oh, you have a bit of a relief, right? 6-7% in the upcoming days, maybe corrects even a whole 10 and drops another 20. And now you're down 40. And now you're still stuck. Ta-da! That's how the market does. Doodly doos. Doesly dud. OMG. Absolutely. Go up to riding the wave almost on into money market account, getting 5%. Yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you do the thing. OMG. In theaters now. Palantir to the moon. Arnold Schwarzenegger. In Chiburashka land. 100 is some schizophrenic hitting, but I thought the limit would be 70. Shit, bro, I thought the limit would be 40. 40 something it was, like 45, I think, 43. Now, even if I'm monetized, I bet my ass YouTube will demonetize this just for how many times I shit. I don't believe it'll happen during December. Bad Wars Gang, I couldn't believe it will do what it did now. This is stupid. Stupid. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of sellers at 80. Might bounce, I think. Could be Slime. Could be. I am not an expert, nor do I follow the options chain, but it sure is boop can happen. And looking at this, again, remember, we were technical analysts here, right? We were looking at what the market is showing. What is the market showing? It can do that. Look at this bullish thing. Look at this bullish BB, right? Look at this. Look at this thing. It can go bananas. Do a wedge, This is a larger wedge, probably. Where are we seeing it? Where's my wedge? Give me some wedge, baby. Come on. No wedge? Really? Okay. That's, okay. Okay. But you see, this is cooking. In the time being, you're being cooked. You don't realize you're being cooked, and eventually you're going to get really cooked. So, at 100, I will sell it all. And how about the people that realize that the rest of you will sell at 100, so they will sell it all at 98, so you never reach 100, and then you shit the bed at 98, you know? But then again, how about people that are thinking right now that about 80, and you're the one crazy person that's waiting for 100? Most of them are going to be satisfied with 80. They're like, are you kidding me? I tripled my money. Tripled. I had 1 million, now I have 3. You shitting me? Now I'm going to take 1 mil out, right? And just to sell 1 mil out, I need to cause some damage. People start saying, oh, people are taking 1 mil out. Maybe I should sell out and stuff. Alrighty. All right, that's it, boys and girls. I think today was a blast, but we're ranting about the same old thing. Same old thing. And I think people are starting to leave. So I'm going to adjourn today's hangout and thingy. And maybe I should change the title, call it Palantir to 100, right? And maybe people will, maybe I'll get some views eventually, finally. Palantir to $100. $100 Palantir, and put it like a very cool thumbnail and stuff. Yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna make a video about this, boys and girls. Don't talk about it. Keep it on the down low. Keep it secret. Keep it secret. I'm gonna make my next video. I'm gonna do a Tom Nash video. I'm gonna go Palantir to the moon and make like a thumbnail with $100 and write I was wrong and make like a thumbnail of myself crying, and stuff. Yeah. You cannot miss this. You cannot. You can't or you cannot. It's gonna be like, it has to be bombastic, with exclamation marks and explosives and TNT and all sorts of cool stuff. Absolutely. Alrighty, boys and girls, it was a blast. We had a lot of fun. We covered a lot of good stocks today. Now, jokes aside, to be a little bit more serious, we've covered a lot of good assets. We've had a good conversation, I think, today. Join the Discord. Again, one final plug, if I may. Although I'm pretty sure everybody who I have here, you see how much YouTube does not accommodate. Like, if you would think that such a consistent viewer base, YouTube would at least recommend my channel to some new members, and eventually we get like a random here and there, like a new person here and there, but it keeps on not happening, right? Weird, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, boys and girls, it is what it is, but I'll be happy if you boys and girls join us and come and hang out. That's it. It is what it is. Alrighty. You all have a blast, boys and girls. You all have a blast. Bye-bye.